Okay, so welcome to our Nationalism and Patriotism in the Philippine Context, Part 1 of our Course Unit 4 Prelim. So, yung mamayang Course Unit 5 is the Part 2 of this Nationalism and Patriotism in the Philippine Context. So, let's start. So, Filipino nationalism. So, as we all know, we have the basic social community, or which is what we call the barangay. So, barangays, principalities before are the 11 datus, raha, or sultans governed with this political unit. Diba? Back to history, ang tawag sa atin sa barangay, hindi nga barangay talaga, diba? Balanghay, sabi nga nila. Diba? And dati, wala pa tayong mga barangay captains, but only datus, ganyan, rahas, or sultan. Yun ang mga namumuno sa atin. So, in 1565, Miguel Lopez de Legazpi arrived from Mexico and established the first European colonies in Cebu. So, nung nagkaroon na ng, di ba, yung mga Spaniards, ang ginawa nila, naglakbay sila na just to prove na bilog ang mundo or hindi, gusto na patunayan yun, di ba? So, nag-search sila. So, isa sa mga pumunta sa Philippines noong unang panahon is si Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. So, they occupied the kingdoms of Manila and Tondo in 1571 and founded Manila as capital of the Spanish East Indies. Kasi noong time na yon, nag-start na mag-colonize ang Spaniards sa atin. Diba? We are being colonized by the Spanish in 300 years. So, the Spanish colonization united the archipelago of the Philippines into one political unit. So, in 1800 naman, the upsurge of patriotic feelings and nationalistic ideals resulting from more than 2 decades of Spanish rule became the backbone of the first revolution in Asia, the Philippine Revolution of 1896. As we are go along the Spanish colonization, diba, within 2 decades, doon nag-start yung ating pagiging patriot, diba, or pagiging nationalist. Bakit? Kasi syempre, pinamumunuan tayo ng isang dayuhan. So, dahil dun sa ginawa nilang yun, na-colonize tayo ng Spanish, dun nag-start yung pagiging, patriotic feelings and nationalistics. Why? Kasi alam natin may sarili tayong bansa. Diba? And nag-import lang naman sila doon. Bakit sila yung mag-rule or mag-govern sa ating bansa? So, beginning of Filipino nationalism, dyan tayo nag-start. So, 1761 British Revolt. So, England set an expedition to the Philippines. So, may pumuntang taga-England dito sa Philippines to occupy and seize it from Spain during the 7 Years' Wars in Europe. So, the Spaniards surrendered Manila and revealed the colonizing country vulnerability, in which gave courage to Filipinos to fight back. So, yun ang dahilan nung merong pumupuntang English people dito na nagtatry na mag-colonize again, katulad ng Spaniards. So, doon na nag-start na mag-revolt or parang magkaroon ng propaganda, diba? Or parang revolt itong mga Filipino na to fight for our rights. And then, nagkaroon tayo nung year 1762, the Silang and Pararis Revolt. So, anong nangyari? We have Diego Silang, diba? Revolted in Ilocos region, demanding that Spaniards and Spanish mestizos get out of his province. He succeeded and was then made governor by the British but was later assassinated. So, nung time na yon, pinapaalis ni Diego Silang lahat ng mga Spaniards noon. Kasi nga, umalis kayo dito sa province na to kasi teritoryo nila yon. But later on, Diego Silang was later assassinated. So, pinatay din siya later on. And then we have Gabriela Silang in 1834 naman. He continued the fight that his husband started but was captured and hanged. So, tinuloy yun ni Gabriela Silang, kaso nga lang po, yun ang nangyari. So, and then we have Juan de la Cruz Palaris. He led a revolt naman in Pangasinan after the Spaniards captured and executed Gabriela Silang. So, nung time na kinuha na si Gabriela Silang, ito na ang sumunod, si Juan de la Cruz Palaris. So, they sent 3,000 Ilocano soldiers to fight rebellions of Palari and he died in battle. So, namatay si Palaris in the end. Kasi ba naman 3,000 soldiers ang naging kalaban niya. And then next, we have License Fair and the opening ports in 1834. So the king opened Manila and other ports, Zamboanga and Zasuwal sa Pampanga. So, to foreign traders. So, this led to economic improvements of the provinces and the rise of the Filipino middle class. Itong opening of ports, okay, yung parang, ang ports, yung mga, di ba dati, ang transportation lang doon is through boat, ganyan, or parang yung mga malaki nilang barko, ganyan, pupunta sila sa Pilipinas. So, yung mga yan, okay, yung pag-open ng ports na yan, ina-open natin yung mga traders. Kapag nag-trade, yung parang kalakalan po. Okay? So, dun pala nag-start yung kalakalan natin mula sa ibang bansa. So, ang nangyari nun, ito yung naging dahilan kung bakit na-improve yung ekonomiya natin noon. So, the rise of Filipino middle class. Kasi noon, ang tingin lang sa atin noon, nung wala pang mga kalakalan sa Pilipinas, okay, tayo ay mga Indio, or parang alila lang sa kanila. So, nung dumating yung mga ports na yan, nag-start na tayo maging middle class. Nag-start na silang maging mayaman. So, therefore, ayan na, rise of Filipino middle class. Then, meron na tayong tinatawag na inquilinos. Okay, ano po yung mga inquilinos na yan, ma'am? They are the tenants in haciendas who began to accumulate wealth. Sila na yung mga tenants na yan na nagsimula na naging mayaman. Then, we also have ilustrados. Pag sinabing ilustrados ka noong unang panahon na yan, ibig sabihin, you are wealthy and well-educated Filipino. So, ibig sabihin, ikaw yung mayaman at may pinag-aralan. And then, we also have insulares or Creoles. These are the Spaniards born in the Philippine archipelago. Dahil nga, di ba, sinakop tayo ng Pilipino, ay ng Spaniards. Therefore, syempre, magkakapamilya sila dito. So, yung mga yun na pinanganak, na anak ng Espanyol, ang tawag sa kanila ay insulares or Creoles. Also, we have Espanyoles or Peninsulares, Spaniards born in Spain but working or residing in the Philippines. Ito na mga Espanyoles and Peninsulares, ito na yung mga tao na pinanganak sila sa Spain, pero dito sila nagtatrabaho at naninirahan sa Pilipinas. Okay po. So, next naman, however, ito the term Filipino is still subjected to discrimination during these times. So, dahil kahit sa atin itong bansang Pilipinas, and most of the people are, di ba nga, from Spain, kapag nabubuhay tayo dito sa Pilipinas, ang nangyayari nun, kapag tinawag kang Filipino, parang nadidiscriminate ka pa. Ibig sabihin, nadidiscriminate ka sa sarili mong bansa. Next, rise of the Filipino middle class. So, the group below, okay, the aristocratic, religious families, yet higher than the Indios are the middle class. Kapag middle class ka, ang tawag sa'yo ay aristocratic or you came from a religious families or yung malalaki nga. Kapag Indios nga, diba, ibig sabihin, ikaw yung mas mababa. So, they were able to send their children to colleges or universities in Manila or Europe. So, kapag aristocrat ka, noong unang panahon na yan, kaya mong ipadala yung anak mo para mag-aral sa Manila or even in Europe. So, however, sabi niya, discrimination was still very prevalent upon the middle class rise. So, the Suez Canal opened in 1869, which paved the way for many Spaniards with progressive ideas migrated to the Philippines. So, habang nag-open tayo ng mga kanal na yan, lalong dumadami yung mga ports natin. Lalong dumadami yung chance na nakakapunta yung mga Spaniards sa Philippines. Ito na. So, national identity of the Filipinos. So, ano ba yung mga national identity nyo? Diba? Sabi niya, I am a Filipino, sabi niya, inheritor of a glorious past, hostage to the uncertain future, as such I must prove equal to a twofold task. The task of meeting my responsibility, your responsibility to the past, and the task of performing my obligation to the future. So, as a Filipino, you are a part of the past, you are also a part of the future. Ibig sabihin, mabubuhay tayo kung ano ang pinaglaban natin noon at, okay, ano yung magiging obligasyon mo para ipagpatuloy yung ginawa na noon ng ating mga great Filipino patriots. Okay po? So, this is I Am Filipino by Carlos P. Ramulo, or parang sa Tagalog, ako ay Pilipino. Diba? So, it's been over 70 years since Carlos P. Ramulo wrote I Am a Filipino. It is a work of literature about national identity. So, the Philippines has been conquered by so many foreign countries that our way of living has been greatly influenced. And thus, the question, what is the true identity of Filipinos often comes up. Kayo ba? If I will ask you, what is the true identity of a Filipino? Wala na, ma'am. Sinakop na kami ng Korean. Ano ba? Sige nga, kayo nga, Filipino kayo. What is your national identity as a Filipino? Most of you, sabihin natin, Filipino kayo, okay? Most of us, sinasabi natin na hindi man tayo nakakolonize ng ibang bansa. Pero alam mo ba, what is the modern way of colonizing a country? What is the modern way? One way of that is, tinatangkilik natin yung mga product nila, tinatangkilik natin kung ano ang meron sa kanila. Hindi nga tayo nakakolonize ng physically by moving sila dito sa ating bansa by ruling us, but they can control us by choosing their products, choosing their what they offered. 'Di ba? Hindi nga tayo nakakolonize, 'di ba? Pero that's the modern way. 'Di ba? Or parang easy way na nakakolonize tayo. Okay po. Next. So, being a Filipino and identifying as one is expressed in our little tradition. So, this can be found in home or local community. So, the Filipino character can be often seen on little things. For example, ito ha, sa bahay nyo, sigurado merong ganito, di ba? Graduation pictures hanging in the wall. May nag-chat. Anong sabi ng chat? Minom na kumo. Mas masama naman yon. Okay? Solon. Anan ka kanyan? Okay, graduation pictures hanging in the wall. Ayan, pumunta kayo sa bahay nyo. Sigurado may mga parang tradition na yan na sa bahay ng mga Pinoy, makita mo, nandyan yung, tawag dito? Nandyan yung mga picture ng nag-graduate kayo sila kinder, di ba? And then you have celebration of fiestas. Ayan. Meron din kayo niyan. Di ba? Every barangay merong fiesta. Wala pa yata akong nakita na barangay na walang fiesta dito eh. Di ba? May fiesta kayo. And then, the Rizal statue in the plaza. Ayan. Oo, di ba? Lagi naman, kahit nga sa school, laging may statue yan. Yung mga elementary kayo, di ba? Sa elementary school, lalo na sa public school, hindi mabubuo ang isang school nang walang statue ni Rizal. So, next we have the national identity based from indigenous values. Ito. Pagsasarili. Ibig sabihin, self-reliance. Okay, parang kaya mo na, ganyan. Or pananiniwala ka sa sarili mo. Confidence. You also have pakikisama. Okay. Equitable sharing and partnership. Ayan, tulungan kayo. Diba? Then, we have pagkabayani or patriotism. Kaya mong paglaban ng country mo. And then, pagkakaisa or the national unity, consensus, and discipline. And we also have pakikitungo kung paano tayo nakikipagtungo sa ating kapwa. Next. Okay, there are 10 modern ways on how to express the Filipino nationalism. Okay, kayo ba? Na ano nyo ba to? Sinagot nyo ba yung activity? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The 10 modern ways to express Filipino nationalism. So, isa-isayin natin. So, kayo, kahit sabihin nyo nang hindi naman kailangan magpakabayani, hindi naman ibig sabihin na nagpapakabayani kayo or you want to be a patriot, kailangan nyo magpakamatay kayo or kailangan yung mamatay para sa bansa. So, there are 10 modern ways on how to express our Filipino nationalism. So, number 1, okay, sabi niya, respect the Philippine flag. Sabi niya, respect the Philippine flag and value the Filipino identity. So, as a Filipino, it is your responsibility, di ba, to respect the Philippine flag. Ibig sabihin, the history and the value for flag are connected to the freedom we have today. Kasi kung di mo respetuhin nga yung flag mo, parang nakalimutan mo yung sinabi, yung ginawa ni Carlos P. Romulo na ako ay Pilipino. Sabi niya that you are part of the past and you are working with the future. Next, we should always be proud that we are Filipinos and should always uphold our country. So, nung yung nangyari sa mga Koreans, di ba, na parang discriminate yata yung isang Filipina na sa TikTok. So, yung mga ginawang parang comment nila sa FB or parang pinakita nila na mali ang Koreans, tama yon. Ibig sabihin, they just respecting na, or pinaglalaban lang nila, or na Pilipino tayo. Okay? Next, be productive citizen. So, paano be productive citizens? Be industrious and make ourselves productive, not only for ourselves, but for our country as well. Serve the people, serve our nation. Kayo ba? Productive citizen ba kayo? Ha? Do you consider yourself as a productive citizen? Sabi niya, be industrious and make ourselves productive, not only for ourselves but for our country. Naku, paano nila magagawa sa bansa nila kung sa sarili nga nila tamad sila? Diba? Next is, ito, be aware of issues in our country. So, as a Filipino, you should be aware of our issues in our country. Hindi yung wala kang pake. Diba? We must be aware and updated on the significant issues happening in the country. Baka hindi mo alam, hindi tayo makikialam, or kung hindi natin malaman yan, hindi mo alam, one day, nasakop na pala tayo ng isang country, diba? So, whether it's political or events in our community, we should always be concerned and extend help to people in need whenever we can. So, hindi lang sa political or even our involvement in our small community, even in your barangay, kailangan you should be aware of whatever issues arises from that. Then, we also have stand proud for every Filipino's achievement. Okay? Filipinos are globally competitive in many aspects. Diba? Kahit saan naman, kapag tinignan mo, kilala ang Pilipino na pagiging talented. Diba? Sa boxing, si Manny Pacquiao. Sa singing, meron din tayong ibabato. So, ibig sabihin, stand proud for every Filipino's achievement. Diba? Nakaka-proud kahit sa beauty queen. Diba? Kahit sa Miss Universe, nag-i-stand out ang Filipino. Pero 'di ba, anong nafi-feel mo whenever na ang isang Pinoy ay nanalo sa isang mga ganung competition? 'Di ba, you feel very proud kasi kapwa mo siya Pinoy. 'Di ba? Filipinos are globally competitive in many aspects. So they are proud to be Filipino and for the honors they bring to our country. Yun. So they unite every Filipino for their achievements. Kaya nga kapag merong nagkipag-compete and yung isang Pinoy at nanalo, di ba, we are very proud to the point na sa FB natin, pag nanalo si Pacquiao, talagang mauubos yung timeline mo ng congratulations, di ba? So, that is a one way na nagiging proud tayo sa lahat ng achievement ng isang Pinoy. Then, patronize and support our own products. Ito, di ba? Sabi nga sa inyo, we need to patronize and support our own local products. So, the Philippines has rich resources to create quality goods and products. Actually, okay, we are very rich in natural resources also for our agriculture. For example, sa bigas po, okay? Diba, ang dami nating mga palay, pero bakit sinasabi nila lagi, hindi nabebenta? Kasi mas inuuna nang binibili yung taga-ibang bansa. Kaya nang nangyayari, nasasayang yung sa atin dito sa Pilipinas. Ano pa, yung mga gulay, tignan nyo, pinagtatapon na lang nila. Pero, di ba, sa atin yun, resources yun, di ba, in agriculture. Kasi, hindi natin kinukuha or hindi natin tinatangkilik yung dito sa Pilipinas, kaya ang nangyayari, yung kung ano ang meron tayo, yun ang nasasayang. So, the manpower services we provide are also globally competitive. So, our economy will improve more if we ourselves patronize our own products. Kung kanwari, tatangkilikin talaga natin ang sariling atin, then there will be no problem. Siguro yung economy natin, mas hindi malulugi yung mga businessman natin na purely Pinoy. Kaso, ang nangyayari ngayon kasi sa Pilipinas, okay, yung mga nag-business dito is taga-ibang bansa. Tama po, di ba? Sila yung taga-ibang bansa. So, anong nangyari? Mag-employ lang sila ng mga Filipino. Employed lang sila yung mga Filipino. Pero yung the source o yung talagang kita, saan talaga? Yung sa may-ari. Diba? Then next, preserve the Filipino culture. Ano yon? Philippines is rich in various colorful cultural elements. They are our identity. Be proud and preserve the culture we have, for they are the treasure. We have to keep them from future generation. Filipino culture, ano yan? For example, pagmamano. Yan. So, wag natin pa rin kakalimutan yung mga ginagawa natin na noon pa naman na uniquely na pang Pinoy lang. Next, ito. Respect everyone and value our traditions. So, Filipinos are very courteous and respectful. Courteous and respectful pa ba? Parang nga sa group chat, hindi man, no? Okay? So, Filipinos are very courteous and respectful even in modern times. Many Filipinos show and value their noble forms and traditions. So, we Filipinos must continue to exercise these good traditions like respecting our elders and others. By using po at opo, po man pinpapa po kang mayo diba? Pugulisakan nila pa ano, na, being hospitable, or parang, diba, yung marunong ka tumanggap ng bisita, and then, being religious, and kilala yung mga Pinoy as laging acting sa church, and so, speak out our own language, ito pa, one way of how showing nationalism, speak out our own language, ay hindi ma'am, English spoken yan, diba? Ang nangyari, using our own language is manifesting and preserving our national identity. It is our unique means of communicating and interacting with our own fellow men. So, our language is an important tool to achieve further unity and national development. So, ang kasi kadalasan ang nangyayari, diba, lalo na sa mga bata, do advantage naman nila. Diba? Bata pa lang, hindi na marunong magtagalog. Anong nangyayari? English spoken na sila agad. So, what will happen? Parang mapagkakamalan mong hindi Pinoy, ano? So, dapat, kung tuturuan nyo yung mga bata, or kahit kayo, di ba? Huwag nyo sabihin na, meron kasi mga ganun taong ganito, yung pag nag-aral lang sila sa ibang bansa, or kahit yung, kanwari, ang subject nila ay major sa English, ganyan. Hindi na daw marunong magtagalog. Diba? 1 year ka mo, meko, Brad! Nakabiyas sa magtagalog, mo. Nakabiyas sa magkapampangan. Diba? Parang, minsan, masyado na silang, hindi ko naman, parang nagbamayabang na, di ba? Huwag tayong ganon, di ba? Marami nga sa atin, sa mga Pinoy, kahit pa ilang years na nasa ibang bansa, pero still, ginagamit pa rin ang, yung ating language. At saka isa pa, kapag nasa ibang bansa sila, yung mga Pinoy, pag nag-usap talaga sila, malalaman nila na, di ba ikaw malalaman mo na Pinoy ang isang tao kapag narinig mong nagsalita ng Tagalog. So, isa yun, sabi niya, one way, sabi nga niya, in our uniting, diba, is the use of our own language. So, yung mga feeling genius, wag naman ganun, kahit feeling genius, wag naman sanang kalimutan ng ating language. Madaming ganyan, Then next, we have remember and commemorate our heroes, sacrifices for our country. So, yan, kaya nga, diba, meron tayong National Heroes Day, diba? Wala nga tayong pasok nun Friday yata yun. Ay, hindi, Monday yun So, there were many Filipinos who died for our democracy. Yung pinaglaban talaga kung anong meron tayo ngayon. Freedom and independence. Some fought using their pens, tulad ni Revolts, and tongues, while some used the powers of their arms and weapons. So, each had their own way of showing their love and respect to our country. In today's generation, let us value and treasure our heroes, sacrifices, and devotion for our country. Hindi naman nire-require ngayon na kailangan nating maging ganyan yung mamatay ng dahil mamatay para sa bansa, ganyan. Ang sinasabi lang yan is kailangan lang natin i-value or i-respect or i-commemorate lahat ng ginawa ng ating mga ancestors, great ancestors. Kasi without that, or without yung ginawa nila, wala tayo sa estado natin ngayon. Baka hanggang ngayon, baka nga naging progress na lang tayo ng Spain. Diba? So, love our family, our neighbors, and our compatriots. So, love and help one another. That way, we are showing the world and that we are proud to be Filipinos. Stand united. So, do something to help each other and for the greater good for mother country. So, love everyone, love our country as we love ourselves. So, yon. Eto, alam niyo naman to, Philippine symbols and promotes a sense of nationalism. Grade school pa lang kayo, tinuturo nito. Diba? The Philippine flag. So, the red, white, blue, and colors, baka kalsya kayo hanggang ngayon. Hindi niyo pa rin alam kung paano ang itsura ng ating Philippine flag. Nasaan dyan, Solon? Solon? Sige nga. How many rays does the sun in the Philippine flag have? Solon. Absent ka, Solon? You're not answering? Naku, mukhang iniwan lang yung cellphone tapos umalis na. Solon.
Ma'am!
Aba, sige.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Solon.
Mga akong mamamamit.
Solon, what is, how many rays does the sun have in the Philippine flag? Oh.
Ano ma'am? Sapi?
How many rays does the sun have in our Philippine flag?
Ma'am, 8.
8 represents what? Those 8 rays represents what?
Ah, yung country natin, ma'am.
Yung 8?
Oo.
Ano yung sinusymbolize
Ang
ng
dami.
8 rays na yon? Country? 8 countries?
Province.
Province. Yung mga province na alin?
Ano, ma'am?
8 province
Province
na
of
alin?
country, ma'am.
Ano daw? Mukhang iba yata yung pinag-aralan ni Solon, di ba? Ano yung mga 8 provinces na yun? Di ba yun yung mga 8 province na nakipagdigma? Oh.
Yung mga naipagdigma, ma'am.
Absent ka na eh. Matutut kang Philippine history mo na eh. Pati rin Hekasi.
Bataan,
Diba?
Tarlac.
Yan, o, diba? Hekasi. Wala na yan. Okay. Next. Alam niyo na dapat ang Philippine flag. Coat of arms of the Philippines. Ito, the yellow sun with 8 rays depicting the original provinces in the Philippines. Yun nga. Diba? Then, we have the Lupang Hinirang. Diba? Or the Chosen Land. The Philippine National Anthem. Okay? Baka nagkaroon sa examination. Ano ang title ng ating Philippine National Anthem? Bayang Magiliw, ma'am. Proud na proud pa siya. Bayang Magiliw. Sinabi present tense, hindi man po yung title. Huwag kayong tumawa dahil ginagawa yan kahit college na. Ako. Nangyari yan. Okay? Next, we have Sampaguita. Or the Jasminum Sambak, sabi niya. So, it is considered as the national flower of the Philippines, symbolizing purity and simplicity. Next, we have also Nara, or also known as Pterocarpus. So, it is known as the national tree, also known as rosewood or rainforest tree. Diba? Nara. Yung parang napakatibay niyan eh. Then, we also have Philippine eagle, or the Pithecophaga jeffereyi. It is the Philippine national bird protected by law. Philippine national bird, mata ng agila, sabi niya. Then next, of course, ayan, Jose Rizal. It is the national hero of the Philippines. And then we have also Cariñosa or Tinikling. Okay, it is the Philippine national dance na gracefulness is symbolized by this dance. So, di ba ito yung pambansang sayaw, sabi nga natin. Tinikling or Cariñosa. Then we have Carabao or the water buffalo. Philippine national animal that symbolizes industriousness and hard work. Then we have bangus or milkfish. It is the Philippines national fish or symbolizes versatility. And then we have mango. Ayan, nakaisa, meron yata dito sa Pilipinas. The national fruit of the Philippines, considered as the sweetest fruit in the world. And we have barong. Kasi siya sinusuot nyo kapag mga nagninong-ninang kayo. Ninong-ninong na ba kayo pag sa kasal, di ba? Okay, or kapag merong formal event. So, barong, the Philippine national costume and clothing style for men. And barot sayo naman po for the skirt and blouse with no collar. Ito, yan. Nagsuot na ba kayo ng ganyan? I'm sure sinuot nyo yan ng mga bandang high school kayo. Yan, di ba? Mga event nyo sa mga ganyan. Then, meron tayo na Bayan Ko in Pilipinas Kung Mahal, the Philippine national songs. We have also Arnis, ayan, pinag-aaralan nyo. Philippine national sport. Then, we have Anahaw, ito. It is the Philippine national plant used as a hat, diba? Umbrella or fan, symbolizing Filipino resourcefulness. And then we have Nipa hat, ayan. Philippine national house, a small bamboo house with attached roof. Ito. So, yun lang for course unit 4. So, let's continue now for the course unit 5. Okay, this is the continuation of our Nationalism and Patriotism in the Philippine context. So, this is part 2 and it is counted for your course unit 5. So, the topics are the important days, events, and persons, the great Filipinos who showed sense of nationalism, the great Filipino patriots, and the nationalistic and patriotic duties of every Filipino. So, noong 1834, okay, balik lang tayo, important days and events, Manila was officially part of the world commerce. Okay po. Development of agriculture happened and the means of transportation and communication nag-improve na po. And then, no 1834, as we go back dun sa ating last topic kanina, we have Ilustrados and Infilinos. Pag sinabi natin Ilustrados, ito yung mga Pilipino na may pinag-aralan or or pwedeng makapag-aral sa Manila or even sa Europe. Then, pag sinabi natin inquilinois naman, these are the wealthy families who can at least lease property to the friars. Then, we have also noong 1834 naman, the establishment of the Spanish Republic due to the opening of the Suez Canal. Ito. So, more Spaniards came to the Philippines and more friars. So, ito. Nagkaroon na tayo ng Secularization Movement. Diba? So, we have to transfer of parishes to Filipino priests. So, anong nangyari kasi dito, di ba nung dumating yung mga Spaniards, sila yung nagpaano ng relihiyon ng Katolisismo. And then, after that, syempre, dahil sila yung nag-ano ng mga Katolisismo, sila yung mga heads ng mga each priest. So, we have, each parish para. So, Spanish priest po ang nangunguna sa lahat ng mga, parish. So, we have types of priests. Kapag sinabing regular priest, dito yung mga friar curates. Ito yung mga, sa Padre Damaso, yung parang mga Spanish na priest. Kapag secular priest or parish priest. Okay, again, kapag sinabi natin secular priest or parish priest, ito yung mga gustong makilaban na tawag dito. Ito yung mga Pilipino na gustong kuhanin yung ating parish. For example, local na pare, gusto niyang parang siya yung magiging head po. Kapag namang regular priest or friar curates, ito yung talaga yung mga originally from the Spanish. Okay, we have Father Pedro Palaez in 1862. So, exposes the discrimination of Filipino clergies and the racial national conflicts. Itong si Father Pedro Palaez, nakita niyo yung parang nangyayari sa mga Pinoy. Kasi di ba parang wala tayong karapatang mamuno nun sa isang relihiyon. Then, we also have Governor General Carlos Maria de la Torre. He boosted and inspired the Secularization Movement. Ano bang nangyari nun? So, nung nagkakaroon na ng yung tinatry nila na i-transfer yung transfer of parishes to Filipino priests, nung sinuportahan naman tayo ni Governor General Carlos Maria de la Torre. Okay po? So, noong important things in events. So, religious orders took control of the parishes. Okay? And then, Council of Trent. So, nagkaroon sila ng Council of Trent. Secular priests should control the parishes. So, after nun, no 1870, they replaced Governor de la Torre and ruled with, we have Rafael de la Quierdo. Siya yung nag-replace kay Governor de la Torre. So, he ruled with a crucifix in one hand and a sword on the other hand. So, he repealed the exemption of Filipinos from polo y servicio. What is polo y servicio? So, polo y servicio, ito po yung mga forced labor. Kasi dati po, talagang forced, kailangan nating magtrabaho eh. Pag sinabing forced labor, sa pilit yung pagtatrabaho. So, na-exempt. So, ni-repealed yon ni Rafael de la Quierdo. Then, we also have the great Filipinos who show sense of nationalism. We have Gomburza, yung ating Gomburza, tatlo, diba? We have Father Mariano Gomez, Father Jose Burgos, and Father Jacinto Zamora. So, ito. Father Mariano Gomez, anong gano'n? Archbishop Vicar in Cavite, accepted the death penalty calmly as thought it were his penance for being a pro-Filipino. Next, we also have Father Jose Burgos, the parish priest of Manila Cathedral, advocate in the Filipinization of the clergy. And then we also have Father Jacinto Zamora. It is the parish priest in Marikina who was unfriendly to arrogant and authoritative behavior of Spaniards. So, yung tatlong yan, siya yung parang nanguna, di ba po? Na magkaroon ng revolt against the Spanish priest. Next, so what are the issues on the three priests? Ano bang ginawa nila? Bakit sila pinatay? So, the Father Gomez, he participated in secularization but no longer active in 1872. And he was already more than 82 years old. So, yung secularization kasi na to, ito yung parang way of revolting against the Spanish priest. Diba nga, sabi ko nga sa inyo, yung mga parish natin noon, yung mga sambahan yun noon, pinangungunahan ng mga pare galing po sa Spain. Diba? So, itong mga to, they are the regular priests, okay po. So, parang secular priest na tinatawag natin kanina, kailangan nila parang lumalaban sila against those Spanish priests. Kasi, di ba, if napag-aralan natin yung, napag-aralan nyo naman siguro yung Noli Me Tangere and El Fili. Di ba? So, di ba, ina-expose doon kung ano yung masamang ginagawa ng mga padre, ganyan, di ba? So, itong mga Pinoy na padre, syempre gumagawa sila ng Secularization Movement para nga matuwid yun na yung mga yun. So, we also have Father Burgos involved in the issue of secularization, and we have Father Zamora. Si Father Zamora ito, he was just a victim of mistaken identity. So, since the warrant of arrest is for Jose Zamora, a critic of the Spanish government at that time. Next. Gomburza Execution, anong ginamit sa kanila? They used the garrote. So, they were executed in February 17, 1872 by garrote after being implicated as masterminds in the Cavite community. So, sino ang responsible? Si Francisco Zaldua. He is a soldier who testified against Gomburza. What is garrote? Ito yung execution technique previously practiced where a tightened to iron collar, yung sa mismong yung sa mismong leeg, okay? Where tightened iron collar is used to strangle or break a person's neck. So, yan, masakit yan. Hindi siya katulad ng, ang garrote, katulad ng throttling na tinatawag natin. Hindi po siya katulad ng assassination na yung sa samurai na isang puto lang. Sa garrote, ang gagawin dyan, so, nakatakip kayo, and then, nakita nyo yung dito niya, tawag dito, ito, okay, ito nyo to, iniikot yan. Iikot po nila yung bakal na yan. So, may bakal dito sa mismong sa mismong leeg. And then, iikot nila yan. Hanggang sa sumikip. Di ba parang mas masakit yon kesa doon, kasi nararamdaman mo kesa yung misa na nilang siyang puputulin ng ulo mo. So, that is garrote. So, iniikot-ikot nila yan, yung bakal na yan, hanggang sa na yung mismong leeg mo.
Dinadahan-dahan ka naman.
Dahan-dahan, 'di ba? Mas masakit 'yan, mas okay na yung lang, 'di ba? Yung puto lang ulo, ganun, kaysa diyan.
Opo.
So, masakit siya. Next. So, what is the importance of this Gomburza? Importance of the 1872 Gomburza Execution? It marked the beginning of Filipino nationalism. Okay po. Then, we have propaganda or reform movement. So, ano ito yung propaganda or reform movement? So, propaganda. When we say propaganda, this is a systematic effort to spread opinions or belief by means of pen or tongue. Ito yung mga ginamit nila Rizal. So, hindi sila gumamit ng kanilang lakas, but they use their mind by means of pen and tongue. Then, we have the propaganda movement. Okay? Also known as the Junta de Propaganda, Cuerpo de Compromisarios, La Sociedad founded by Ilustrados, and the 19th century to improve the lives of low-induced through reforms or law. So, itong movement na to, yung propaganda movement na yan, ang reason niya is para, parang tinutulisa kasi nila dyan yung mga Espanyol, di ba? Para nga lang para mabago yung mga laws natin sa Philippines. And then, we have propagandists or reformists. Ito yung mga Filipino reformers who fled the country to escape persecution in 1872. Ito mga propagandists or reformists, okay, umalis sila ng sa country para lang mapakasan nila itong persecution nila in 1872. So, what are the major causes of the propaganda movement? Bakit nila ito nagkakaroon ng propaganda movement? So, the emergence of middle class. Ayan. Liberal administration of government de la Torre. And the execution of Gomburza. So, what is the goals of movement? Ito. Make Philippines a province of Spain. Filipino representation in the Spanish Cortes. Equality between Filipinos and Spaniards. Yan ang pinaglalaban nila. Secularization or granting Filipino priests right to the hold the parishes. Kasi nga walang right itong mga Filipino priests. And then gaining freedom of speech, expression, and assembly. So, the Great Filipino Patriot. Sino yung mga Great Filipino Patriot natin? Siyempre, number 1, we have Dr. Jose Rizal. Okay po. Wait lang ha. Okay, anong alam nyo kay Dr. Jose Rizal? Ha? Bukod sa alam nyo na siya ang pambansang bayani, ano pa? So, he is regarded as the conscience of the movement. Okay? Pen names are, meron silang mga pen names noon kasi bawal silang makilala. We have Dimas Alang, diba? Or Laong Laan, diba? As a claim as father's Philippine nationalism for his intellectual and idealistic support for Philippine independence. And then, he wrote Noli Me Tangere, or sinatawag nating Touch Me Not, a novel about social reality in the Philippines in the 19th century. And he was imprisoned at Fort Santiago for sedition, rebellion, and illegal association. Pero kasi, kaya lang naman ginagawa ni Jose Rizal yun kasi nga, gusto niya magkaroon ng freedom within the Filipino. And then, we have his last poem, yung Mi Ultimo Adios, di ba may kanta pa yan? He was given to his sister, which was secretly hidden inside the Cosinilla de Alcoholo. So, linagay niya yun, yung pinakalas poem na ginawa niya para sa Pinoy, the Mi Ultimo Adios. And then, we also have Marcelo H. del Pilar, diba? The greatest journalist of the Reform movement. So, he mastered the use of satire or the use of humor, irony. Ito yung parang, kapag yung type of mockery, okay? Mockery ang type of writing niya. He used the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices. Pag sinabi nating mockery, parang pang-aato na may halong katotohanan. Diba? So, ginawa niya yan. In-exaggerate niya yung mga vices ng mga Spaniards na yan. So, he is the co-founder of a bilingual newspaper known as Diaryong Tagalog and organized the first political group in the Philippines known as Junta de Propaganda. His pseudonyms are Dolores Manapat, ayan, Piping Dilat, V. Garcia, and Plaridel. So, para hindi siya nakikilala noon. Meron silang mga pen names. Siyempre, kapag nalaman kung sino nagsulat noon, siyempre, i-investigate yan nung mga Spaniards government noon. Then, we also have Graciano Lopez de Jaina. Diba? He started the campaign for freedom in 1874 by writing a Fray Botod. Diba? Or yung Fray Botod, La Hija de Fraile, means Big Bellied Friar. Sino yan? Big Bellied Friar. Yung mga friar, di ba yung mga friar nun, natataba nila, bellied. Belly po, bellies. Okay. Taba nyo, bellies. Ha? Okay. So, Big Bellied Friar. So, in his work, he revealed the gluttony, indolence, and greediness of friars, represented by Fray Botod. So, his pen name was Diego Laura. And he also founded the La Solidaridad or Solidarity, which became the mouthpiece of the propaganda. Okay, next we have Dr. Pedro Paterno, who wrote the novel entitled Ninay. Sino yung Ninay dyan, no? The first Filipino novel that shows Filipinos developed culture. And then we also have Antonio Luna. His work is Noche Buena, depicts the actual life in the Philippines. And then we have La Maestra de mi Pueblo, described the effects of the educational system for women. And his pen name was Taga-Ilog. That was Antonio Luna. Siyempre, doon yung mga una kong tinawag, Kanwal Jose Rizal, Marcelo H. del Pilar, Graciano Lopez de Jaina, Padre Pedro Paterno, and Antonio Luna, they used their mind, diba po? And mouth and pen to magkaroon ng movement or propaganda movement. So, yun ang ginawa nila. So, after ng mga yan, nagkaroon din tayo ng gumamit din sila ng lakas. Ito na, sina Andres Bonifacio. So, known as Supremo of Katipunan and was one of its founders. So, his work was pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa. It means discusses the importance of loving the motherland. And his pseudonym was Agapito Bagumbayan. Okay? Agapito Agumbayan. Parang, di ba, alam ko may joke tong sa Agapito na yan eh. Di ba, pag in-English yung pangalan niya. Early 7. Okay. And then, he prepared the Decalogue of katungkulang gawain ng mga anak ng bayan, but later adopted the cartilla ng Katipunan of Emilio Jacinto. Also, we have Emilio Jacinto, ang sinasabi natin ng brain of the Katipunan, or utak ng Katipunan. Ito siya. So, he joined the Katipunan under the name of Pinky Ann. Okay, Pinky yan ang pangalan niya. So, he wrote the criteria ng Katipunan that serve as the moral and ethical guide for Katipuneros. And then, the chief editor of the Kalayaan, the official newspaper of the Katipunan. Ay na, ano ba yung Katipunan na yan, ma'am? O, KKK, baka sa hanggang ngayon, hindi nyo pakialam. Kataas-taasang kagalang-galangan na katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan or Katipunan. So, it was founded July 7, 1982. And then, Deodato Arellano was the first president, followed by Roman Basa and Andres Bonifacio. So, they were divided into 3 segments, the Katipon, Kawal, and Bayan. So, each has its own known password and members undergo blood compact. So, ang KKK noon, parang ito yung kilusang movement. Parang kilusan na yan. Ito na talaga yung action. So, they were groups. Tapos, talagang blood compact sila at may mga code name pa yan para makilala mo na member ka ng KKK. So, Katipuneros refers to the son of the people use triangle method to recruit members. Nagre-recruit sila. So, where every member should recruit 2 new members who would only know each other after passing the initiation rites. Meron pang initiation yan. So, meron naman silang pinaglalaban noon. And yun nga yung ating kalayaan. So, after that, nationalistic and patriotic duties of every Filipino. So, we have obligation as a Filipino. So, duties and obligations of citizens. So, it shall be the duty of citizens to be loyal to the Republic and to honor the Philippine flag, to defend the state and to contribute to development and welfare, to uphold the Constitution and obey the laws, and to and to continue, loving our country. So, duties and obligation as a Filipino citizen. So, hanggang ngayon, kailangan po nating sundin yan. Then, we also have the bayanihan. Okay, ito. Nationalistic and patriotic duties of every Filipinos, we have bayanihan. Paano yung bayanihan? Alam nyo ba yung bayanihan? All for one, one for all. Sabi nga nila, di ba? So, it is the mutual assistance, group liability, or social group work. So, it is the sense of belongingness of teamwork. Ayan, di ba? Yun yung unang form ng bayanihan nun. Kasi ang bahay nun is bahay kubo lang. So, bibit-bitin nila yan kapag lilipat kayo ng bahay, or lilipat kayo ng lupa. Ganyan. Social responsibility and unity purpose among the people in the community. So, we have, bayan. Paano na-form yung word na bayanihan? Kapag bayan, which means nation. Bayani, hero or heroism. Anihan, it means harvest. Anong hina-harvest doon, ma'am? Itong pakikisama nyo, or yung sense of belongingness, mutual assistance, ayan, group liability. Okay, that is bayanihan. Then, so, bayanihan would translate to doing a selfless, heroic act without expecting something in return. Or parang kanwari, yung mga motorcycle natin, yung mga drivers natin dyan, or riders sa tatawag. Diba kapag nasiraan ng yung kasama mo, kahit hindi mo kilala, hinihintuan nyo? Pag sinabing bayanihan, okay, nagkakaroon ng heroic act without asking for return. Tutulungan mo. Di ba pag nakita kayo ng isang Pinoy na panwari nangangailangan ng tulong, lalo na kung pag in the middle of the road, walang tao, ganyan. So, this is a form of bayanihan. O kanwari, yung mga isang grupo ng barangay men, sama-samang alisin yung isang truck na nakaharang sa daan. So, that is form of bayanihan. So, what are the modern ways? So, dati niya, syempre, syempre, hindi naman natin sinasabi na ganito lang, pagbubuhat lang po ng bahay ang bayanihan. So, what are the modernized ways of showing bayanihan? So, it can be seen in the times of emergencies. Ayan, di ba? Ang isa yun sa mga, for example, emergencies. Dadalhin sa hospital si ganito ganyan. Tapos, di ba, kahit wala kang hinihinging kapalit, tutulungan nyo. So, that is a form of bayanihan. Earthquakes. Ayan, tinutulungan natin yung kapwa natin. Typhoons, fire, other calamities, ayan, sickness, death of a community member. Diba? Kapag ganyan, nagtutulungan, yung nakikita mong tulong na ginagawa ng mga Pinoy, diba? For their kapwa Pilipino, diba? Lalo na kapag nangangailangan yung Pinoy, that is a form of bayanihan po. So, that's it. That is the course unit 4 and course unit 5.